I made over 100K in sales in under 9 months by embracing my dark side. I'm on track to make $250,000 this year because I embraced my dark side. Now, when you peer the dark side, a lot of people think negative energy, evil, something like that. That's not what I mean when I say dark side. What I mean, and what I'm going to explain to you in this video, is tapping into the parts of yourself that you repress, that you avoid because you are worried about who you might become. And who you might become, meaning a lot of times in order for us to have success, and this applies to any industry, of course my industry in which I chose to plant my flag is sales, but this applies to any industry. A lot of times we tend to subconsciously or unconsciously sabotage ourselves, right? Because we don't work hard enough, we're not consistent enough, we tend to not do the things that we need to do. And a lot of times the reasons for that is because we're avoiding the dark side. We're avoiding going into spaces mentally in terms of consistency, in terms of mindset. We avoid going into spaces that are going to guarantee that we have success because we are unconsciously afraid of what that success will mean. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, how many points do I have here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to give you 6 elements that I've identified, that I've broken down, which are elements of the dark side. I've learned this in sales, I've learned this as a business owner, and I'm still learning them. And I'm going to give you these elements, and if you can apply these into your life, you will see success, you will see freedom, you will see the life that you want to live, the life that you want to create will absolutely come true. Okay, so number one, the first thing to understand before we get into any of these principles is the backstory. The backstory is the identity around the success. The first thing that every person who is successful, who taps into the dark side, needs is the identity, the backstory, the identity behind your success. So technically we could call this point number 1, which would be 7, but I kind of think this is separate. Your backstory is essentially what gives you the context, what gives you the drive behind what you do. And it's not what you're moving towards, that's not that. But your backstory is essentially what's driving you to be who you are. As an example, my backstory, for me, coming from a home where I was given a lot, I wasn't given everything. I didn't grow up upper middle class or wealthy, but I had everything that I needed. There wasn't a lot of struggle. For me, my backstory is I always thought that I was gonna be the one who would kind of have things handed to him. That's how I grew up, just thinking, hey, because my dad's doing well, I'm always gonna have things handed to me. And recently I realized I'm gonna have to be the person who takes that responsibility on for myself and for my family. So now there's been a great deal of responsibility and a great deal of weight placed on my shoulders, placed on me to be this person who allows his family to have amazing success and who brings freedom to his family, and I've accepted that responsibility. That's an example of your backstory. So first things first is, what is the identity that you have around your success, and why are you moving towards success? And again, I don't mean what you're moving towards, but what's driving you and where does it come from, right? What's the context of where it comes from? Is it that you're running away from something and there were things you never had in your childhood and you realize that you need to create that for your family? Is it that you need to be a better man than your father? Making it up, right? Is it that you need to be a better man than your father? Is it that you need to take care of your mother? What's your backstory? What's the identity around your success? Number 2 is what we call your holy grail. This is actually part of the sales process I use. Your holy grail is your driver. The thing that you're moving towards, what you want to see show up in your day-to-day life, in your future. There's a book that I absolutely love. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. I've talked about it on this channel. And in that book, what it talks about is how to envision success, but not envisioning it from the point of like manifesting. Manifesting's cool, but not like just manifest and suddenly you'll see success. But it's envision success because you can see a very, very specific future. You can see it, you can taste it, you can feel it, and you'll do what it takes for you to create that future. That's the Holy Grail. So what I want you to think about, I ask this in my scripting when I do sales calls. One of the things I ask is like, when you're in that position, when we help you to be in that position, what does that really do for you, like personally? As a person, what does it do for you being in that position? That's an example of the Holy Grail. Like, what does that future look like? Is it that you want more time? Is it you want more money? Is it that you want just freedom? Is it that you want to be location independent? What is it that you want in your future? Visualize it, create and build a visual future around it. What I don't want, and what a lot of people do, is they talk, and then those dreams they have never ever come to fruition. They never actually enjoy the desired future. The reason is because they don't see it. They don't conceptualize it. Something that I've done on my journey that's really, really helped me is I see a future for myself. I see a very specific future that I live in where I have certain success, and I know what it smells like, I know what it tastes like, I can see the different environments, I can see the different settings, I can see all of this, I can feel it, and I meditate on it, and I move towards it. So number two, which is the Holy Grail, is your driver needs to be your future. Your driver should be the thing that you're moving towards. What is it that you're moving towards? What's the vision? And what are you doing in your present to try to create that and make that happen? Number three is extreme ownership. Extreme ownership of your actions. Your actions meaning, my dog's over here being a little crazy, but your actions meaning the right inputs and the right outputs, okay? You can control your inputs. Your inputs are the things that you do, the things that you put into your body, the actions that you take. You can't control your outputs. The outputs are what happens, how much money you earn. You can control it to some extent with what you do at the top, like what you do day to day. You can kind of control how much you earn, but not literally, because you don't know what the market's gonna give you, you don't know what the industry is gonna give you, you don't know what the space you're in is going to give you. But what you absolutely can do, you absolutely 100% can take extreme ownership over the actions that you take every day to create a better future. And this is something that I believe in deeply, something that I do that's a part of my core, is taking massive ownership of what I do every single day. Every day when I wake up and I open my eyes from my bedroom's right here, when I open my eyes every single day, I'm the one who's in control over what happens next, and I have extreme ownership. Recently, I've gone through a period of change because I have, more money than I've ever had before. I have more flexibility and freedom than I've ever had before, and I've really had to think, what do I take ownership over? What do I take ownership over in terms of my day-to-day life? I take ownership over my skill set. I take ownership over being the best leader I can for my team. I take ownership for leading my clients and helping them to be the best version of themselves in terms of their skill set, in terms of how they produce, in terms of how they perform. We've got a bunch of guys on our program that are crushing it right now, taking charge over their sales skill set, taking charge over their mindset, taking charge over their income, right? I have to think, what am I taking ownership over? Am I taking ownership over my emotions, which is a whole other part of this game, taking ownership over my emotional state and who I choose to be as a man, who I choose to be in my life. Extreme ownership is huge. And on this journey to success, this is the key. In this journey to success, in this journey towards freedom, you will not have success if you're not taking extreme ownership over every single aspect of your life, every single aspect of your reality. Extreme ownership is another part of the dark side because most people are not taking ownership. That's the thing, right? Most people, what happens is they exist in this wavelength of just doing, like I'm just going through the motions, but they're not owning what they're actually doing. They're just showing up. Right? Like the person who works the 9 to 5 and just shows up to the 9 to 5, there's no ownership there. Me, when I work as a sales professional, let's say I do that, or I work as a business owner training people in how to be better at sales, when I do that, I have to take ownership of my skill set, ownership of the inputs that I put in to have certain outputs where I'm able to earn 15, 20K plus per month. That's ownership. And a lot of people that I speak to, even on sales calls, calls that I run through, they're not taking ownership. It's kind of like life is just coming at them. Life is just happening for them or to them, but it's not that they're taking ownership and creating the life they want. So the next principle of this would be ownership. Taking ownership, extreme ownership over your inputs so that you can have the right kind of outputs. The next principle, and I think we're on 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 is going to be obsession. Obsession is not settling for anything less than mastery over your skill set. Okay, not settling for anything less than mastery. For me, and this is one of the things that helped me get good at sales so fast, a lot of people ask me about this. I get questions like, hey Tim, how long have you been in sales? And I say very openly, I've been in sales about a year, a little bit more, a year and a half. I haven't been in sales for a very long time. Now, what I would say, it gets interesting, because I was selling high-ticket services for my own company, my own coaching businesses. I was selling before. Like, I've been selling for 5 years. But in sales, as in I put on the hat of sales professional and say, my job is sales only. That's been a year and a half journey. Got into it middle of 2023 because everything fell out of my life and my whole life crashed and fell apart. Business went to zero. Business partner and I split. Things got terrible, and then I got into sales because I needed something to save me. I struggled. I learned, invested in myself, invested in a training program, understood how to handle objections, how to lead, learned a proper process. Combine that with the many years I have of experience as a business owner, as a coach, a dating coach, which is my first business. Combine that all and then begin teaching sales pros how to have success after I made a bunch of money in the sales space, like made a lot of money in record time. Now, The question is, how did I make the money? And the question I think even more so is, why was I able to get so good so fast while a lot of other sales pros don't? For me, it was obsession. Part of this is a negative. I'll admit, I don't think everyone should be obsessed. I tend to get obsessed over things very, very quickly and very easily. What'll happen is I'll find something that I'm wildly passionate about, and I know what my next journey is going to be. I'm going to document that here on YouTube, actually, as I start to go more aggressively on YouTube. I'm going to show you guys this. My next journey is going to be really cool, and I'm going to show you guys what it's going to be. But I started off, when it comes to sales, I just became obsessed over the game. I became obsessed, and I mean damn obsessed. I became obsessed with being the best that I could be with the skill set. And it consumed me. It thoroughly consumed me. All I wanted to do was do sales. And I put in, I'm not kidding, guys, I put in probably 2 years worth of work in the span of 6 to 8 months. I was going hard. My girl knows this. We didn't go on any dates. Nothing fun was happening in our lives. It was just sales, sales, sales. Listening to calls, listening to my calls again, understanding the process, just completely immersing myself. And within 6 months, I got so good at sales. I became very, very good at sales, where people in the program that I was in, that I had invested in, started asking me to coach them and teach them what I was doing to get success and what I was doing correct. It happened that fast. The reason is because I spent time obsessed. So part of the game of success, part of the game of the dark side, is being so obsessed over your skill set that you don't settle for anything less than mastery. You don't settle for anything less than perfection. That's part of the game. Obsession is part of the game. It's not enough to just show up. It's not enough to just show up and oh, I put in a little bit of work, especially in sales. If you're watching this, and I know a lot of sales guys follow me, if you're watching this and it's oh, I do a couple of role plays, I do a little role play here and there, it's not enough. What you need to do is obsess and obsess over perfection. It doesn't mean you don't take action until you're perfect, but you obsess over getting the process perfect. We have these 3 parts of our training. The way I train my people is pressure. I put them under a lot of pressure where they have to perform consistently and they have to step up out of their comfort zone and perform under pressure with people watching them and being called out and perform in the moment. Then it's repetition, doing the same thing over and over again. And then it's error correction. Error correction is obsession. It's where we want to make no mistakes. You want to be literally perfect in your process. After obsession, the 5th point here, and it gets really interesting, this is where we start to tap into the darker parts, the dark side, is consistency. Something that I believe in that I call embracing the boredom. I love the boredom. And if you guys know me, if maybe you're one of my clients working with me, maybe you're in my free community, which you can see down below in school. We have a free school community where you can come to free sessions actually and train sales with me. I do this once a week on Thursday. It's completely free. And I literally have all my protocols on leadership, on mindset, on objection handling, which is super important, how to handle objections and bring people over the line. I have that, my protocols on discovery, everything that I've learned from mentors. I put it all together from my sales experience and added it all together from what I've learned from mentors and then going out and doing it, made a bunch of money, and I'm giving it away for free. So you can see it in my school community called Quantum Level. It's down below. So what happens is I started learning that I have to embrace the boredom, and that's consistency. A lot of people think that the journey to success, the journey to freedom is going to be super fun. What they see is all these people on YouTube getting on private jets, all these things, starting to make a bunch of money, and they're like, oh, this is what it looks like, but they're seeing the end goal of it. You guys are going to see it from me on YouTube next year. This year, and I've said this quite a lot, this year for me was all about stacking cash. This year was about training my people, about understanding how to be a better coach, how to be a better mentor, how to be a better leader. At the beginning of the year, it was understanding about how to get better at sales at a very, very advanced level. Then I got there, and then it was like, hey, let me help people make money with this. Now, what's going to happen next year is you guys are going to see me having a bunch of fun. You're going to see me doing cool things. You're going to see me traveling, hitting different cities, and I'm going to document it. I'm going to show you this, right? But what I want you guys to understand is what you see from me next year is not the journey. I'm still on the journey, of course, the journey to hit 7 figures, go to 8 figures, but what you're seeing from me next year is, and what you're going to see from a lot of influencers and people on YouTube, is a product of the journey, right? But the journey itself is boring. The journey itself is not fun. The journey itself is not going to be like sunshine and rainbows and roses and just oh yeah, we just hang out and we do a bunch of talking and there we go, we make money. It's not like that. The journey's boring. The journey's real fucking boring. I know there were days where I was mentally exhausted, and I would go to the gym and I would have a call, like a coaching call, just playing in my ear. I would have that happen, right? It was repetition over and over and over, obsession. I would go to the gym or be on a flight and I would listen to one of my own calls and I would take a notepad and be writing notes on my call. It was literal obsession, understanding the process and obsessing over it, and beyond obsession, consistency, doing it over and over, embracing the boredom, because the journey is going to be boring. The journey isn't going to be a journey that's just fun, and nor should you expect it to be, because if you are expecting the journey to just be fun, you're in for a rude fucking awakening. The people on our program know this. The people I work with, the people that I'm training, the guys I'm training that are making a bunch of money now, they understand how boring it is. And again, it's cool to be with the bros. It's cool being with your brothers, being with other people who are on the same journey as you. And we have that in our program. Like, I'm seeing my guys, I'm seeing my people, we're training. It's a whole bunch of fun, we're joking. But the journey towards success at scale is boring. It's freaking boring, but the boredom is where the success happens. You gotta love it. Like, you have to love the boredom and embrace it. And that's some dark shit. Like, that's the dark side. Like, can you embrace the boredom and just like, I don't care, I love the boredom. I'm cool with the boredom, I want the boredom. And then what we have is evolving standards. So once you start to see the tip of success, once you start to see those beginning points of success, which can happen relatively quickly, then the question is, can you evolve your standards? Can you move towards perfection? Can you move towards a standard of excellence for yourself, even for the people around you, evolving your standards? As an example, one way of doing this would be like advancing your skill set. So some people I know come in sales, they come in and train, they get to a decent level, and then what happens is they get complacent because they make a little bit of money, they make like 5K, something like that, and then they're like, oh no, I'm good now, I'm good. I don't need to do anymore, I'm fine. And that's it, right? And then the skill set drops, they lose their skill set literally, and their income drops, and they're at like 4K again after they had a month of making 8K, 7K, something like that. You have to constantly evolve your standards and push to new heights, which means always be looking to get better. Every single angle you can take to get better, every single angle you can take to push and expand your skill set, you have to consistently be doing that, because part of the game of the dark side, part of the game is competing with yourself and is literally evolving your standards within yourself. That in itself, my friend, is part of the game. And then we have competence. Competence is becoming well-rounded and balanced. That's competence. It's where the way that you address the game, the way that you play the game of success, the way that you play the game of freedom is through competence, it's through balance. Balance just means, it doesn't mean like some meditation, but it means that you strive to, almost like evolving your standards, but you strive to push yourself to new heights, and you're well-rounded. So it's not just like sales is my only skill set, but it's business as well. This is what I tell to my people. Instead of you just learning sales and thinking of yourself as, I'm the sales guy and all I know how to do is close a deal and that's it, you should also understand business, because that's going to lead to you furthering your career and accelerating it faster than ever before, right? It's not just, oh, like here's the sales call and I do the sales call and that's it. But it's becoming competent in a wide variety of arenas. It's becoming competent in different areas, and areas that are related to the basic skill set. So for me, my base skill set, sales and coaching, those two things. Great at sales, amazing at coaching. I've dialed those into my life. I'm learning business, learning leadership in terms of leading my team. I'm learning hiring practices, all that's part of business. Physical health, I'm understanding how to maintain my physical health, how to manage my sleep better, how to eat better, right? How to hack my own psychology and my own understanding of acquiring knowledge. All of those things are part of the game of success. So it's not just like push yourself, but it's become competent, become well-rounded and balanced, because that leads to you having more flexibility, having more money, having more freedom. That's the game, guys, and I wanted to share this sauce with you here. I think there's a lot of value to be had here. It's really these things. It's your backstory. Who are you and why are you doing what you do? That's your backstory. Where is it coming from? The Holy Grail, which is where you're moving towards, right? What do you see in your future and who do you want to become? Extreme ownership, taking full accountability and ownership over your situation and over your own inputs, and then allowing the right outputs to happen because you fully own the work. Obsession and making sure that you're pushing for perfection, not settling for anything less than mastery. Consistency, the same things over and over and over again, even when it is boring. Enjoying the boredom, evolving your standards to excellence, evolving your standards to the next level. And then we have competence. Becoming well-rounded, becoming that person who is well-rounded and who chooses to have success at the highest levels. That's the game. Goodbye. Hopefully you learn. Stay blessed. Let's make some money. Let's keep pushing. I'll see you on the next one.